So, like to understand from all my panelists, like their views, what they feel from how to create solutions out of it, or how to make opportunities out of it. The first question, I have a couple of questions to my panel members. The first question is you can give view from your industry, like who are here in your work. Actually, all my panelists are from different industries. Let us listen to them what problems they have seen in the last, let's say, 3 years kind of thing, and how they found out some kind of solutions out of it, so that some like sustainability or like some kind of say maintaining the growth also, how they have managed that kind of thing. So just listen to all the panelists.
Okay, so thanks, Hemant. So before I dive into, I'll just take 30 seconds to introduce myself. So I am actually a health tech entrepreneur. I have my companies for the last little more than 1 year, and before that I was a strategy and consulting leader with Accenture and Cognizant. Or 25 years, 13 years, I've been into healthcare. So I think the question which Hemant posed is very insightful, and there are a lot of good things we saw. I think the presentation about cervical cancer and the AI unit and the use of AI, which covered a lot to the healthcare. So my thing is simple. See, before, if you look some 5 years, 10 years back, digitalization has been moving in its own pace. It's not that digitalization was new, but the way the pandemic happened in 2 years, things got new. So in my experience, what I have seen is significant adoption of technology and in the right form for healthcare. When I say healthcare, not just hospitals, clinics, but also the health insurance sector. Now, let me break that a little bit. Now, what has happened is, we talked about AI, a lot about cervical cancer, I will go a step into that. But even as a primary step, the role of teleconsultation has increased. But what has happened is, even though it has increased, there are still inefficiencies in that part to make it foolproof. Because today, if you go to a doctor, he can check your body, check your heart and all. So though we have remote patient monitoring and all those things, it is still not at scale, so that everyone will have a comprehensive health record that you have this problem, you can do this and that. So that's just an example. The second thing is, with so many people falling out of COVID and government going for its Ayushman Bharat, like in US they call it Medicaid, but in India, Ayushman Bharat is nothing less than that. It's going to be more complex. So when it comes to claims and all, how can smart contracts be built to make sure that the claims processing becomes easier? So it's not that these things are not happening, but these things need a twist. And if you look at all these things that we have been discussing so far, the digital technology and the specific use cases of AI and all, 2-3 things need to be done in mind. One is basically data. So when I say data, it's not that the data will be fueled on its own. Data has to be gleaned from certain sources. But how will academic institutes, how will students, you can enable that data gathering from the community. And I'm not giving examples of just IITs or IIMs which are leading to the process, mostly the IITs, not IIMs for that matter. But there are examples of engineering colleges, like one in a remote place in Pandharpur in Maharashtra, that have been trying to collect data from people, running pharmacy stores, actually empowering the teleconsultation to be done in vans. The results get transmitted to the city health centers and all that. That is very important. And finally, things like, we talked about AI, but there is a good scope for digital twins. Say, for example, 2 people suffering from diabetes, they not go for the same path of treatment. The path of treatment is changing. While the person is recovering, you do simulation outside the person. That's a digital avatar or a digital twin. How can that be done? So I think what I'm trying to say is all these things are happening, but not at scale. They need a lot of involvement from the academia, a lot of involvement from students, and a lot of things about gathering. With 1.4 billion people, and I think roughly 140, 14 or 15 crores is the diabetic and pre-diabetic population. Why those things can't be done? So these are some examples. But that is where a lot of things can come, not from the medical field, but we as engineers, when you look at defining data sets, when you look at working with data, when you look at forming the logic, which is like today there's a concept of low code or no code software. It's not about building the universe. So those are the kind of things we are doing, and those are the kinds of things which I feel is imminent on all of us to think if you want to go to the next generation. And in things like even smart contracts or blockchain. So I'll stop here.
Thank you.
Myself, Dr. K.C. from CET as associate professor. My focus was only education, offline class and online class. What is the problem and what is the solutions? Actually, in offline class, that is everything is okay. In online class, people are saying it is in pandemic we are using online in a digital classroom. But in digital classroom, students are not concentrating properly. It is first thing. In recently, I am taking actually advanced control in 7th semester. Recently, in my paper, out of 60, 37 students failed. Result out. The reason is that when I saw the after university, I saw the paper from the students. The reason is that they are saying, sir, ये मैंने YouTube में देखा था, ये ऐसे ही लिखा है. ये मैंने स्वयं पोर्टल से देखा था, ये ऐसे ही लिखा है. They are also showing to me ऐसे ही लिखा है. But what is the notations? Notation. They are not observing the notations. But when we are in the offline class, the thing is that we are saying P is equal to energy. P is pressure, V is volume, N is the number of moles. We are saying. But in PV is equal to energy, there P is they are telling pressures in different way. Volume in V in place of V they are telling velocity. These are the problems in the digital and online class and offline class. Another things in the education sectors, this is online staying at home and attending the online classes. It is some students it is good. How? Those who have this self-confident, I can read, I will do. I have self-confident and मेरे पास टाइम है, I will do that. वो बच्चे के लिए पूरा अच्छा है, लेकिन जो बच्चा थोड़ा इधर-उधर का है, थोड़ा एजाइलनेस है, वो बच्चे के लिए नहीं, वो जो लिखता नहीं है, that this is very difficult. So in my opinion, in online classes or digital classes for the reference, but basically we have to think the offline classes with chalk, duster and pen, paper. It is my suggestion. In after the pandemic, AICT and UGC compelled to us to do course in NPTEL, both professors as well as the students. And स्वयं पटल में ये डिजिटल कोर्स करना है, ये AICT कोर्स करना है. ये देखो जैसे FDP शुरू हो गया in pandemic. After that, they are taking the quiz. In quiz, most of the attendant participants they are scoring below the pass rates. They are scoring very low mark. Because हम सुनते नहीं. अगर हम बैठेंगे तो सुनेंगे ना. हम बस ओपन कर दिए quiz चले गए. He is laughing. Means ये पूरा strongly.
How to real problems are understood?
Yes.
What make solutions are?
Solutions only one things. जब भी हम ऑनलाइन क्लास में शुरू करेंगे ये सॉल्यूशन है. अदर्स apps तो ये बंद रहना चाहिए.
So you have to say like
हाँ.
there's a monitoring system
Yes.
to which you can control the fact